Hello everyone, welcome to another guide. We're going to be going over the elemental variant in this video. Since there are so many of them and the descriptions kind of tell what the abilities do, I'm not going to be showing you the abilities using direwolves like I did for the cosmic variants. I'm just going to be explaining how to get the information and a little bit of information about their weaknesses and their bonuses. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the Omega Dex. Go to variants and elemental. So there are two different kind of elementals, standard and burst. Unlike the other variants that only have 7, elementals have 13. Each element has bonus damage or weaknesses to another variant. Think Pokemon, but Dino themed. So the first that we have is Fire and Fire Burst. The standard launches a projectile that can set enemies on fire, and Burst creates a burst of fire that ignites enemies, and they're weak against water and resistant to ice. Ice and Ice Burst. Standard launches a projectile that slows and even freezes enemies if you hit it multiple times with the projectile. Burst creates a burst of ice that can freeze enemies as well. This is weak against fire and resistant to wind. Earth and Earth Burst. The standard launches a projectile that can poison and slow enemies. Burst creates a burst of gas that also slows and poisons enemies. They are weak against wind and resistant to lightning. Lightning and Lightning Burst, these are kind of useful because they do stun and can ground flyers. Standard launches a projectile that electrifies enemies. Burst creates a burst of lightning that can electrocute enemies as well, grounding flyers for a few moments. They are weak against earth and resistant to water. Water and Water Burst. The standard launches a projectile that drains the target's oxygen. Damage is taken if the oxygen reaches 0. Burst creates a burst of water that attempts to drown enemies the same way that standard does. These are weak to lightning and resistant to earth. Wind and Wind Burst. Standard launches a projectile that stuns enemies. Burst creates a burst of wind that stuns enemies as well. Weak to lightning, resistant to earth. And the very last one that we have is technically the 7th variant for elementals. So Barrage rains down a random combination of all the elemental variants as elemental balls. These cannot be controlled, so the direction that you are going to be aiming doesn't matter. The elemental balls will randomly target enemies in the area. If there's only one enemy, they will all target the single enemy. This is a little bit of a shorter video since I didn't give you the examples using direwolves. The descriptions are kind of self-explanatory, don't really need to see examples, but if you want to see in the future, we'll have Ethereal next. Feel free to subscribe or comment below to let me know what your favorite variant is and why. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.